So I had said, Gen X is feared. We're not forgotten. And people have said, oh, you weren't forgotten and you aren't feared because nobody cares because you've never done anything. And that is not true. Because I'm going to start with, you know who fears us the most? The boomers, the baby boomers that are still in charge, the generation that came just before us that did everything they could because they were larger and they were significantly older than us to stomp on us and beat us down and try and tell us that we were no good and we were worthless and would never achieve anything, and basically to stay out of the way, that we were useless and we were deadbeats. And guess what? We're not. We're here. We're the center of everything, quite frankly. But people are going to be like, that's arrogant. It's not arrogant. It's a simple fact. You go anywhere, which really makes the machine run as a whole, the world, the economy, what gets built, what gets maintained, what keeps everything going. You're going to find in the middle of it, it's Gen X that does it. It's Gen X that fixes things. They're most likely going to be the ones that do the mechanics that fix your vehicles if you don't do it yourself. They're going to be the ones show up that are building your houses and maintaining your buildings, doing your plumbing, engineering your drawings and your buildings and your dams and your bridges. Because whenever they get new people doing these things, they fail, they collapse, they don't last as long. And they're basically a wasted product. Because just like everything else, the younger people in their education is not as good, and it's more useless than the education you had previously. Yes, technology changes, and us Gen X, and the older millennials, you got to learn the new tech. You got to move forward and you got to adapt, but we still know the old stuff. And here's a simple fact that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to these things, and you got to learn new stuff. Just because it's new, just because it's fancy, and just because it's an advanced technology does not mean it's better, does not mean it's going to last longer, and it does not mean it's going to be easier to do. It just means it's new and it's fancy, and there's some prick at the end of it all that's going to make a buttload of money, try and sell it, force you to use it. It's not going to last as long. It's going to cost 10 times as much to fix or replace. I mean, look, let's just take a look at basic things. Refrigerators. You got some of the old fridges. If they're still going today. And you get the old ones, you can pull the parts and you can fix them. Nothing lasts like it is today. They got electronics and everything, but the electronics all in the dishwasher, when you get them, are right there when you open the lid. So all that steam and moisture gets in there. They burn out in a couple of years. They're no good. High efficiency dishwashers, they use less power during the cycle, run the machine, and they use less water. Well, my sister has one of these high efficiency dishwashers. It's a 2-hour and 45-minute cycle to wash dishes. I got a basic standard dishwasher, 25 minutes. And which one really uses more power in the end? If you're going to use half the power as normal, half the kilowatt hours running a machine, it doesn't work to make it cheaper if you're sitting there and have to run the thing 5 times longer to do the same job. Then it is not efficient. It is a waste of time. It is a falsehood, a fallacy, a fiction. And it's absolute bullshit. And this is why people fear Gen X now. Because we still know that a lot of the older things were better. We still know how to do these things. We don't have to rely on the other crap. And a big mistake we made is we don't fear new. We don't fear old. We don't fear the unknown. And the biggest mistake we did with all that is we did not pass that along. For some reason, we've managed to make the most skittish, most, dare I say, scaredy cat generation in existence. And yeah, God damn it, they happen to be our kids. And they talk and they're like, they're always afraid of this and high anxiety that and high anxiety this and oh, I'm scared, or you made me feel bad, or you hurt my feelings, or you bruised my ego. I don't care. We don't care. That's pretty much a Gen X motto, I don't care. We didn't worry so much about your feelings. We didn't worry about our friends' feelings. If we hurt our friends' feelings and they really got pissed off and they were really mad and they were really angry, they just pop you in the mouth and it's done. And they'd be like, don't you say that shit to me again. And it's over. That's how you knew. I'm not going to sit there because all of a sudden you're feeling sad or you want to go talk about it or go sit in your safe space. I don't care. Most of us don't give a damn about this shit because we know the world's not nice. Nobody cares about you once you're out there. Everybody's out for themselves. You take the nicest person that says, oh, I don't worry. I won't harm anybody. I out there. And when the time comes, they'll throw you under the bus. They'll step on you to get a promotion. They will do whatever they have to beat you down in order to get ahead. That is life. Unless you actually have real friends that are loyal and true friends. Younger generations, they don't have friends. They don't even know people. They get out and they talk to somebody for 20 minutes. They meet somebody actually face to face. And in 2 days, all of a sudden, they're best friends. It doesn't work that way. And as you get older, you'll understand and you'll get it. But as you get older, it makes it easier to decide if someone's going to be a friend. You talk to someone once, you'd be like, yeah, I could hang out with them. And maybe chill at a barbecue. We ain't going to go on no family vacations together. I ain't worried about bringing them to my inviting them to my grandchild's christening or anything like that. Or whatever it is you do, depending on whatever religion you are, right? Don't care. Everybody has their own thing and you do your own thing. And that's where we come, where we were just the get along, go along, get along generation. Yeah, I said it twice because we didn't worry. We had all sorts of different people that were together and didn't worry about the differences. Didn't matter if you're white or if you're black or if you're Asian or Native American. It didn't matter. We got along either way. It didn't matter if you were rich or if you're poor. Not so much. There was that differences. You know, you had them arrogant rich pricks. We know who you were. Most of you aren't much today. You know, you didn't make much of yourself. You're probably still living off mommy and daddy's money. But I digress. But for some reason, a generation that didn't fear people seemed to have raised a generation that was afraid of everything and everybody. How did that happen? I don't know. Where did we go wrong? Do you know? I mean, comment down below. Let me know where we went wrong. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't make that mistake like some of us did, where you sit there and you ended up, for some reason, created this fearful generation. Yeah, we padded sharp corners. Sure, they changed the playgrounds to make them softer. Sure, but that shouldn't have been what created fear into everybody. I mean, we grew up being pounded with fear, afraid of being blown up by the bomb, afraid of the environment doing this. It was everybody was, was one missed paycheck away from being homeless because you couldn't make the mortgage or the rent, because we all had single parents or parents both worked and still didn't really make it. So we grew up on all that, but we weren't fearful. So how did we pass fear on? What made this generation so afraid? I mean, hey, Gen Z, if you're out there, you watch this one, let me know. What the hell is it that made you so afraid of everything? Because this is the one thing we do know. Fear is a learned behavior. Right? Kids aren't afraid of heights when they're young. They're taught to be scared of falling from a height. They're taught to fear hot water because they'll get burned. We instill these fears in them because it's fears that keep you safe. But how did it go to being afraid of your own shadow? Afraid that somebody might say something you don't agree with or you don't like. But on top of all that fear, thinking, how did they wind up becoming a generation that thinks that there's no consequence? I mean, did we not punish our kids? Did we not instill discipline, real discipline? I mean, I know, I said before, there's a difference between discipline and punishment. There is. And we discipline kids, but did we not punish them to an extent? Or did they feel that there was no actual consequence to their actions? That's why you get some of these remarkable idiots you have out there today that thinking they can do what they want, say what they want. And that's it. I mean, you see it now. It's more often than not all the time, especially in the 20-somethings in that mid-early 20 age group. What is wrong with you people when you have an interaction with the police and you think you can like kick at them, swear at them, spit on them, and there's not going to be any consequence? I mean, yeah, it's got to the point where it's like everybody wants to hate on the police and get down on the police. Yeah, you got some in there that they're screw ups, yeah, and they probably shouldn't be cops, but that doesn't mean that you go around and can kick, spit on, and swear at everyone you see because for some reason you think you're going to get away with it because maybe it's the latest fad to hate on them. I mean, think about it. They take a job, especially now. The ones that go in to be police now know they are taking a job where they are hated by almost everybody. And then your circle of association gets really small, especially in a bigger city, bigger centers. You don't have very many associations outside other people that do that. One, it's frowned upon because, what if they're not one of us or they don't do what we do, right? So yeah, there is that. It's actually on both sides, that us versus them mentality. And I understand that I'm just kind of shifting around as I'm talking here, but you know what? It's Friday as I'm doing this, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm just sitting down, I'm at the camera, and it's coming out raw, unfiltered, straight from my brain, over through my tongue, and out. You hear it. It's done. I said it. Right? And shit, man. It's probably the fact that I still can't focus. A typical thing that happens when you get older, and Gen X, we had many when we were young, and we're going to have more so now that we're older. But we lose friends, and we lose a lot of them. And I lost one recently 2 days ago. Very sudden. Very unexpected, and everybody's very angry because he probably should have survived if it wasn't for somebody being ignorant and making a declaration about what was wrong with him without proper testing. Arrogant pricks. And it can knock you through a loop. We take loss differently. We can be a little sarcastic. We can have that dark, twisted sense of humor within hours after losing a friend. And we joke about it. And we always sit there and what we'll do is Gen X typically we'll sit there and right away you'll remember crazy stories about the person. Where younger people for some reason turn it into an I thing. I feel this way. I feel that way. I'm this, I'm that. It's not about you. It's not about you. But it can change the way your brain thinks for a few days. And yeah, it's got on me because everybody knows that when you meet people and you have friends and it don't matter how many friends you have and how close you are or your family and everything like that. There are always those ones that when it happens, it's definitely going to hit harder and affect you more than others. Sometimes you don't even realize that is the person. And then there are the ones you know right away that is them. Then for me, this was one of them. So as much as I still try and maintain, man, that thought process is all over the place for the next couple days. But you're still going to be live on Saturday. Absolutely. So I say, come by, check it out. If you haven't been there yet, come on by. It's a conversation. We'd sit back. It's like buddies around the campfire, sitting at the kitchen table, or you're all hanging out in the garage having a beer while working on the cars. It's just a general fun conversation. Share some stories, have some laughs. Maybe bitch a little bit about something we saw or some nonsense in the news or some political bullshit. But it's just basically a Saturday night hangout. Just come on by. Sit down. Chill out. Relax. And that would be that. So I am going to say, until then, see you later. Peace out, everyone.